Come on, it'll be fun, Liam said, grinning like he always did when he thought he was being charming. We'll head out Saturday morning, camp by the river, maybe even try some fishing. The jungle's not that bad. I hesitated, twirling the edge of my sleeve. The jungle? You serious? Of course I'm serious. What? Too rough for you? He smirked, leaning back in his chair. I mean, you're tougher than you look, or maybe not, huh? The laugh that slipped out of me wasn't real. It scraped my throat, brittle and sharp. He thought he was being funny, but every time he said things like that, I felt something inside me flinch. Why do you always say things like that? I asked quietly, my voice lower than I intended. Liam shrugged. Say what you know, stuff like I can't handle things, like I'm weak. His smile didn't falter, if anything, it widened. It's just a joke, man. Don't be so sensitive. There it was again. Sensitive, like I was overreacting, imagining the sting. I hated how easily he dismissed me. I'm not being sensitive, I said, more firmly this time. I hear it a lot from you. Liam rolled his eyes. You know me. I joke with everyone. It's not personal, but it was. It always was. I remember staring at him across the table, wondering if I was the only one who heard the edge in his words. Maybe other people brushed it off. Maybe I was supposed to. Still, the knot in my stomach only tightened. You sure you even want me there? I asked after a pause. Of course, he said, leaning forward, his voice suddenly warm, persuasive. You're my guy. We've known each other since forever. Who else would I want with me out there? I wanted to believe him, but my chest ached like the words didn't quite reach me. So it's just us? I asked. Not exactly. Mark and Elena might come too. I nodded slowly. And you want me to come because? Liam raised his eyebrows. Because you're my friend. And because you could use some adventure, right? Get out of your head. Shake off all that heavy stuff you always carry. Heavy stuff. Yeah. He chuckled, like it was obvious. You think too much. You brood. I'm trying to help you live a little. That laugh again. Easy, careless. It cut deeper than he realized. I don't need saving, Liam, I muttered. Didn't say you did. He shot back quickly. Look, you overanalyze everything. It's a camping trip. Either come or don't. My chest tightened at the sharpness in his tone. He'd shifted from teasing to irritated in seconds, like my doubts were an inconvenience to him. Don't make it sound like I'm a burden, I said, softer this time. Liam leaned back, folded his arms and looked me dead in the eye. I didn't say that, but he didn't deny it either. For a long moment, silence pressed between us. I could hear my own heartbeat, too loud in my ears. Finally, he sighed. Look, I want you there. Okay, I really do. Forget everything else, I said. Just come. It'll be a memory, a story to tell. I searched his face, trying to decide if he meant it. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. All right, I said finally, though my voice lacked conviction. I'll go. Liam grinned again, triumphant. That's what I'm talking about. But underneath his grin, all I could feel was the weight of the word he'd left me with. Sensitive. Like my pain wasn't real. Like his words were too small to wound. But they weren't small. Not to me. That night, lying in bed, I replayed the conversation in my head. The smirk, the shrug, the way he dismissed me with a single phrase. It's just a joke. Don't be so sensitive. Maybe he believed it. Maybe he really thought it was harmless. But I felt the bruise of it anyway. I always did. And yet, I said yes. I agreed to step into that jungle with him, even as part of me whispered I'd regret it. The fire cracked, spitting sparks into the dark. Mark had passed me a can, the bitter taste lingering on my tongue. I wasn't drunk, but I felt light, uneasy. Liam was laughing at something Elena had said, his voice loud, too loud, like he needed everyone to hear him. I kept quiet, staring at the flames. Then Elena leaned closer, her words slipping out half-whispered, half-taunting. You don't know, do you? I frowned. No, what? She tilted her head toward Liam, smirking. What he calls you when you're not around. A sick feeling spread in my chest. What do you mean? Mark tried to hush her. Elena don't, but she giggled, careless. He calls you the charity case. The words hit me harder than the drink. I turned to Liam. Is that true? The laughter in his face faltered. He shook his head quickly. They're exaggerating. Don't believe drunk nonsense. Exaggerating. My voice cracked. So, it's not true. Liam avoided my eyes, fiddling with the edge of his can. It's just words. Why do you care so much? Something inside me went cold. Just words. The fire popped, and the silence after it was heavier than anything Elena had said. I pressed harder. Look at me, is it true? He finally glanced up, and for a second, I saw it in his eyes, guilt, or maybe annoyance that I wouldn't just drop it. Mark tried to cut in. Guys, come on, don't start. We're supposed to be chilling. But I couldn't stop. My chest felt tight, every breath heavier than the last. I'm supposed to laugh it off, right? Like I laughed off all the little jokes. Like earlier when you called me sensitive. Liam scoffed. You're blowing this out of proportion. You always do. It's why I don't tell you things. Because you can't handle them. I clenched my fists. You've been calling me a charity case, behind my back. To them, Elena's smile had faded. She looked at the fire, suddenly quiet. Mark's jaw tightened, like he regretted letting it come out. Liam ran a hand through his hair. You know what? Fine. Yeah, maybe I said it once, twice, whatever. It was a joke. All right. We mess around. They laugh. I laugh. Why are you acting like it's a crime? The flames blurred in my vision. Because it is. My voice was low, shaking. Because you're supposed to be my friend. Nobody spoke. The crackling fire filled the space between us, mocking me with its ease. Finally, Liam muttered, "You're making a big deal out of nothing." Nothing. I let out a sharp laugh, bitter in my mouth. You strip me down to nothing when you say that. That's what you think of me, that I'm some charity you dragged along so you can feel bigger. Stop twisting it, he snapped, his voice rising. You always act like the world's against you. I'm the only one who's even here for you, and this is how you treat me. My throat burned. You don't get to call it friendship if you tear me apart when I'm not looking. His silence after that said more than any denial. Mark finally spoke, his voice low. Liam, man, that was harsh. Even if you thought it was a joke, you went too far. Liam glared at him. Stay out of it. No, I said, my voice trembling but clear. Let him speak. For once, let someone else say it. Alina shifted uncomfortably. We didn't mean to stir things. I shouldn't have. No, you should have. I cut in. Because I needed to hear it. I needed to know who I was to him. Liam's jaw tightened. You're twisting everything. You always want to play the victim. I felt my body go still. Victim, that word sliced through me sharper than all the rest. I'm not the victim, I whispered. I'm the fool, for thinking you ever saw me as your equal. The firelight flickered across his face. He didn't answer. He didn't deny it. He just sat there, silent, as if my pain wasn't worth the effort. And in that silence, I heard the truth louder than any insult. That night, I lay awake in the tent, hearing his laugh in my head, the word echoing over and over. Charity case. It wasn't the first time he'd cut me down, but it was the first time he didn't bother to hide it. And I knew then silence could hurt worse than any word. Branches snapped under my boots, the sound too sharp in the silence. The jungle pressed in from every side, endless, suffocating. Mark was a few paces ahead with Alina, whispering about whether we were even still on the trail. My flashlight beam shook with my breathing. Liam muttered behind me, his tone sharp. We've been walking in circles for hours. No one said this would be easy, I answered. My throat felt dry. We just have to stay calm. Stay calm, he let out, a harsh laugh. Easy for you to say when you're the one dragging us back. I froze. What's that supposed to mean? He didn't hesitate. Maybe if you weren't slowing us down, we wouldn't be lost. The words burned. My stomach knotted. My chest tight. I turned to face him, the flashlight catching the edge of his jaw. Say it. Say what you really mean. Mark turned to, voice tense. Guys, stay out of this, I snapped. Though my voice shook, my eyes were locked on Liam. Go on. I want to hear you say it. For a moment, he said nothing, his jaw working like he was chewing down the words. Then he spat them out, sharp and raw. Fine. You were never meant to be here. People like you always drag everyone down. The air left my lungs. It wasn't just the words, it was the venom in them. The way he didn't stumble, didn't soften like he'd been waiting to say it. People like me. My voice cracked, louder than I intended. What the hell does that mean? You know exactly what it means, he sneered. Always clinging on, always needing someone else to pull you through. You don't belong out here. You don't belong, don't you dare. My fists trembled at my sides. Don't you dare finish that sentence. His silence cut sharper than the words. Alina whispered, Liam, stop. That's he raised his voice, ignoring her. You want me to spell it out? You were the extra baggage from the start. You think anyone sees you as equal. You've been a weight since day one. I wanted to shout, to break the collapse, but my body went still instead. Like the ground beneath me had frozen. My chest felt hollow, but my head was pounding with Pete. After everything I said quietly, my voice almost drowned by the jungle. After all these years, that's how you see me. Oh wait, he didn't answer. Say something. My voice cracked. Look at me and say it. He dropped it, his gaze. The silence stretched. The fireflies flickered in the distance like they were mocking me. Mark stepped forward, his voice unsteady. Liam, that's enough. You crossed a line. But Liam muttered, almost under his breath. I only said what everyone's been thinking. My chest tightened so hard it hurt to breathe. Everyone, I laughed. Sharp and hollow. So that's it. That's the truth. You've been hiding behind your jokes, your smirks, your silences. I was never your friend. I was your what? Your charity. Your proof you're better than me. Liam clenched his jaw. Don't twist my words. They don't need twisting, I said, my voice shaking. They came out sharp enough. I looked at him, really looked. The face I'd trusted, the voice I'd followed into this jungle, the laugh I'd mistaken for loyalty. And now, under the cover of trees and night, it broke open to show what he really thought of me. The silence after that felt heavier than any scream. We kept walking. No one said another word. The jungle swallowed the sound of our footsteps, but Liam's voice stayed in my head, carved deep into the dark. People like you always drag everyone down, and I knew, no matter what came after, things could never go back. Morning light bled through the trees, pale and weak. My throat was still raw from the night before, but I couldn't keep quiet anymore. The fire crackled between us, and Liam sat across from me, staring into the flames like they were more worthy of his attention than I ever was. I broke first. You won't even defend yourself. After everything, he didn't move. His jaw stayed tight, his eyes locked on the fire. Say something, I pushed, the words rough in my throat. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you didn't mean it. Nothing. He just sat there, shoulders hunched, lips pressed into a hard line. Mark shifted uncomfortably beside him. Let's just move on, okay? We've got bigger problems than arguing. Move on. My voice cracked. I turned on him. He denied me, erased me, and you want me to pretend I imagined it. Mark raised his hands. I'm just saying we're stuck in the middle of nowhere. Fighting won't get us out fighting. I laughed bitterly. This isn't a fight. It's him refusing to admit who he really is. Still nothing from Liam. Not even a twitch. I leaned forward, my chest tight. Your silence says more than your words ever did. Do you get that? It screams louder than any insult. He didn't look at me. Do you even care? I demanded. Do you realize what you did to me last night? Or are you hoping if you keep your mouth shut, I'll just let it die? No answer. Elena finally spoke, voice soft. Maybe he just doesn't know what to say. I turned to her sharply. He knows exactly what to say, he just won't. Because saying it out loud means admitting I was never his friend, admitting he wanted me small. Liam shifted, but still didn't meet my eyes. I felt my voice breaking. Look at me, Liam, look at me and say something. Anything. Nothing. You can mock me, call me names, strip me down in front of them, but you won't even face me. What does that make me to you? What does that make you? The silence between us was heavier than the jungle pressing in around us. Mark tried again, softer this time. We're tired, hungry, lost. Maybe this isn't the time. This is exactly the time, I snapped, because out here all we have is each other. And he's made it clear I don't count. I turned back to Liam, my voice barely a whisper now. Say something, please. The fire popped, and he blinked at it, but not at me. Never at me. The silence hurt more than the word charity, more than sensitive, more than people like you, because at least when he said those things, I existed enough to be hated. Now I wasn't even worth the breath it would take to insult me. I pushed myself to my feet, my hands shaking. Fine. Stay quiet. Pretend you're above it all. But don't think I don't hear what your silence means. Still nothing. I looked at Mark, then Elena. You hear it too, don't you? Or are you going to pretend it's not there? Neither of them answered. Elena lowered her gaze. Mark rubbed his forehead. Their silence folded into his, building a wall I couldn't climb. I swallowed the lump in my throat. You all want me to move on? To keep walking like none of this happened? Then tell me this: what's worse, the insult, or pretending it never came? No one answered. The fire hissed as a log cracked, and the sound mocked me in its stead. I sat down again, staring at the flames until my vision blurred. His silence wasn't passive. It wasn't neutral. It was deliberate, sharp, a knife he could twist without lifting a finger. I thought about all the times he had laughed with me, teased me, thrown an arm around me like we were brothers, and I wondered if silence had always been waiting underneath. The truth crouched impatient until now. I wrapped my arms around myself, the words I couldn't get from him echoing in my chest like a hollow drum. He didn't need to speak. His silence had already said it all. The jungle floor was slick, roots twisting under every step. My legs burned, my throat ached, and every sound, every rustle, every crack made my heart lurch. Elena stumbled ahead of me, clutching her arm. She hissed, "I think I twisted it." Mark rushed to her side. "Sit down. Don't push it." I stopped too, breathing hard. My shirt clung to my skin, damp with sweat. "We should rest, just for a minute." Liam's voice cut sharp through the air. "Rest? We've already wasted half the day." "She's hurt," Mark snapped. "She's fine." Liam's gaze swept over me next, cold, calculating, and maybe if we didn't have someone slowing us down, we wouldn't be in this mess. The words hit like a blade. My stomach tightened. "Say that again," I whispered, though my voice shook. Liam shrugged, his tone colder this time. "Maybe we should leave behind the one slowing us." The air went still. Even the jungle quieted. I stepped closer, my voice rising. "Say it again, louder this time. Let everyone hear what you think of me." Mark stood quickly, holding out a hand. "Stop it. This isn't about your grudge." I shook my head, my eyes locked on Liam. "No, let him finish. Let him spill every word he's been choking on since this started." Elena winced, clutching her arm tighter. "Please, not now." But I couldn't stop. My chest was a drumbeat of rage and pain. "You've been waiting for this, haven't you? Waiting for the chance to say I'm dead weight, that I should be left behind." Liam's lips curled into something between a smirk and a snarl. "If the shoe fits," my throat tightened. I tasted iron like blood was rising even though I hadn't been struck. Mark shoved him back a step. "Enough. You don't mean that." "I do," Liam shot back. His eyes flicked to me. "I mean every word. He's dragging us down. And you know it, always has, always will. My breath caught, always has, always will. That was the truth in his mouth. Now, not the friend I'd followed here, not the boy I'd once thought would defend me, this was who he'd been all along. I forced the words out through clenched teeth. So that's it, you'd leave me here to die. He didn't answer. His silence was enough. Mark turned, his voice breaking. We're not leaving anyone. No one gets left behind. That's final. Liam scoffed, but he didn't push further. Alina whispered, almost to herself, if we split up, it's suicide. Her words hung heavy, a truth none of us wanted to admit. I looked at them, Mark, Alina, even Liam, and my chest felt hollow. Survival isn't just about food or water or finding the way out. I thought, it's about whether the people beside you think your life is worth carrying. I spoke again, my voice quieter but every word sharp. If you think I'm slowing you down, say it where I can hear it. Don't mutter it under your breath. Don't stab me with silence. Look at me and say it. Liam glanced at me once, then looked away. Coward, Mark sighed, dragging a hand over his face. We keep moving together. That's the only way. Alina nodded weakly. I didn't move. My legs felt heavy, rooted. My voice came out hoarse. I'm not afraid of this jungle. I'm afraid of the people I trusted to walk through it with me. No one argued. And in their silence, I felt the truth. The jungle wasn't the only thing trying to kill me. I found him away from the others, sitting on a fallen trunk with his head down, firelight flickering just enough to paint shadows across his face. I didn't wait for permission. I stepped into the space like I owned it, even though my legs shook. Why? My voice came out sharper than I meant. After all these years, why treat me like I never mattered? He didn't look up. His silence scraped at me harder than words. Say something, I demanded. Finally, Liam sighed. You want the truth? Fine. You always needed too much. My chest tightened. Too much. You clung to me, always behind, always waiting for me to pull you up. And I carried you. His voice hardened. I carried you and I hated it. I hated you. The air left my lungs in one violent rush. For a second I swayed on my feet. You think you carried me? My voice cracked but didn't break. You never carried me. You chained me. He lifted his head, then eyes dark and bitter. Chained you. Don't twist it. I kept you from falling apart. No. I stepped closer, trembling. You kept me beneath you. Every time I started to rise, you pushed me back down so you could feel taller. That's not carrying, that's crushing. You're imagining things. You're imagining things. I laughed, but the sound was raw, almost a sob. Imagining. You called me the charity case. You told them I didn't belong. You spat it out like poison, Liam. That's not my imagination. That's your truth finally leaking through. For the first time he flinched, just slightly. Don't act like it was easy. For me, he muttered. Do you know what it's like? Always being the one expected to hold everything together while I what? I cut in, my voice shaking. While I survived what the world threw at me. While I carried the weight of being the only one like me in every room whoever walked into, my chest burned. You hated that I needed you. Try hating that no one ever wanted me there in the first place, except you, or so I thought. He didn't answer, and in the silence I realized something ugly. This wasn't new. His betrayal hadn't started at the campfire or in the jungle, or even this week. It had always been there. In the small jokes at my expense. In the way he sighed when I asked for help. In the moments I thought were loyalty, but were really resentment curdling inside him. You resented me all along, I whispered. You were waiting for the moment you could cut me loose. Liam's lips parted but no words came. I pressed forward, my voice trembling. Do you know what it feels like, Liam? To look at someone you called a friend and realize you were just a burden they carried in their mind. That your laughter, your loyalty, your trust, they were nothing but weight to them. His hands curled into fists. You don't get it. No, I snapped. You don't get it. You got to choose when to pick me up, when to put me down, when to call me a friend, when to call me a burden. I never had that choice. I had to live inside the box you built for me. The silence stretched. His face shifted. Anger, guilt, pride, shame all at war. I swallowed hard. You think hating me makes you strong, but it doesn't. It makes you small. Because I still stood beside you, even when you treated me like I didn't belong. I still believed you were better than this. His eyes flickered, almost soft, almost human, before hardening again. Maybe you shouldn't have. The words sliced clean through me. I staggered back like he'd struck me. Something inside me cracked open, but instead of bleeding out, it burned. Then hear me now, I whispered. I don't need you to carry me. I never did. What I needed was a friend who didn't see me as a chain around his neck. Liam looked away, jaw tight, refusing to meet my eyes. That was answer enough. I turned, my whole body trembling. Each step felt heavier and lighter at the same time. Heavy with the truth, lighter with release. Stop behind me, he muttered, almost too quiet. I did carry you. I stopped, my back to him. No, I said, my voice steady for the first time. You carried your hatred, and you made me pay for it. I didn't wait for him to reply. For the first time, I walked away without looking back. The air hung heavy, thicker than the jungle itself. Liam paced in front of the fire, muttering under his breath like he could hold the pieces of his authority together by sheer force. I stayed seated, my hands still, my breathing steady. For once, I wasn't the one fidgeting. Alina broke first. We saw it, she said, her voice sharp enough to slice through the night. The way you talk to him, it's ugly. Liam froze. His head snapped up, eyes wide. You don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do. Alina didn't back down. It's in every word you spit at him, every time you roll your eyes, every silence you weaponize. You treat him like he's less than you. Mark shifted, uneasy, but he nodded. She's right, we've all seen it. My chest tightened for so long I'd been the only one naming it out loud. Hearing them finally say it's seeing the truth. Leave someone else's mouth hit me harder than Liam's insults ever had. You don't understand. Liam snapped, his voice rising, cracking. He's nothing without me. I let the words hang there, thick and bitter. My calm scared him more than shouting ever could. Then why, I asked softly, do you look so small when I stand up to you? His face twisted, all rage and panic. He took a step toward me. Don't you dare what? My voice stayed even exist without your permission. Mark raised his hands. Liam, stop. This isn't helping. No, Liam shouted, his voice breaking into something shrill. You don't get it. I made him. Without me, he wouldn't have survived a single day out here or back home. He clings to me. He always has. I shook my head. I survived despite you, not because of you. His jaw clenched, and for a heartbeat I thought he'd hit me. But his fists just trembled at his sides, shaking with the effort of holding himself. Together, Elena's voice cut in, steady and cold. Listen to yourself. You sound pathetic. Shut up, he snapped, pointing at her. You don't know what it's like. No, she shot back. But I know cruelty when I see it. And I know fear when I hear it. You're terrified he doesn't need you. I watched Liam's face crumple, rage giving way to desperation. His mask was slipping and I couldn't look away. He turned back to me, his voice cracking. Don't listen to them. You know it's true. You know you'd fall apart without me. For years, I believed that lie, but not anymore. I met his eyes. If I fell, it was because you pushed me. If I stayed down, it was because you stood on me. And if I rise now, it's in spite of you. His breath hitched like I'd struck him. Mark spoke softly. You can't control him anymore, Liam. None of us are blind. Control. Liam's voice broke into a laugh, wild, jagged, empty. I protected him. I held him up, and this is what I get. Betrayal. My voice steadied. That's rich. You spent years carving me down. And when I finally refused to kneel, you call it betrayal. He staggered back, shaking, his head, eyes glassy. I didn't mean for it to be like this. Elena's tone softened, almost pitying. You meant every word. You just never thought we'd call you on it. Something inside Liam snapped then. His rage collapsed inward, leaving something pitiful behind. He dropped onto the dirt, his voice barely a whisper. I didn't want to be alone. If I didn't matter to him, then what was I? The fire cracked. None of us answered. I looked down at him, and for the first time I saw not power, not cruelty, but weakness. A boy who built himself taller by grinding me into the ground. A boy who mistook domination for companionship. You could have been my brother, I said quietly. But you chose to be my jailer. He shook his head, rocking slightly. Don't say that. I don't have to, I said. You already know it's true. Silence pressed down on us, but it wasn't his silence anymore. It was mine and Elena's and Mark's. The weight shifted, and I felt it. He wasn't the center anymore. Liam muttered again, voice cracking into a plea. Please don't leave me behind. I swallowed the lump in my throat. For a second I almost pitied him, but I remembered every time he'd looked through me, every time he'd made me beg for the dignity he never planned to give. He left me behind a long time ago. I whispered, and this time he had no answer. The trees thinned, and for the first time in days, light bled through like a promise. The river stretched ahead, wide and fast, carrying the smell of freedom. My chest tightened. We'd found the way out. Behind me, Liam stumbled, his voice ragged. Please wait. His words dragged like broken glass. I didn't mean it. You know me. I stopped, but not for him or to feel the weight of the moment. The others turned. Mark's jaw clenched. Elena's arms folded tight across her chest. I looked at Liam. Sweat streaked his face, but it wasn't the jungle that broke him. It was truth. That's the problem, I said. I do know you, better than you ever knew me. His eyes darted, frantic. No, you don't. God, you don't understand. I was just angry. You've always pushed me. I said things I didn't mean. Elena snapped before I could stop lying. You meant every word. Liam's head whipped toward her. Stay out of this. No, she shot back. Not anymore. He turned to Mark then, desperate. You believe me, right? Tell them. Tell him I'm not. Mark's voice cut like stone. I can't. I've seen too much. The silence that followed pressed on my skin like heat. For years it had been me alone against his cruelty. Now his words fell, and no one picked them up for him. Please, Liam whispered again, his eyes on me. I kept you alive out here. Don't abandon me now. I swallowed. Steady. You didn't keep me alive. You tried to make me small enough to need you. There's a difference. His lips trembled. I didn't mean you did, I said, quiet but firm. And you've been meaning it for years. Mark adjusted. His pack, we need to go. The river won't wait. Alina nodded. Her eyes flicked to me, not Liam, asking silently if I was ready. I was. For the first time, I truly was. Liam's knees hit the dirt. Don't leave me here, please. I can change, I swear. I remembered the times I begged him, back home, to see me as more than a shadow trailing behind him. I remembered the smirk, the silence, the way he'd turn my pleas into proof of weakness. And now here he was, begging. The symmetry was almost cruel, almost perfect. You had all the chances to change, I told him, my voice low. Every time I stayed silent, every time I forgave what shouldn't have been forgiven. But you never wanted to change. You wanted control. No, he cried. I just didn't want to lose you. You never had me, I said. Alina touched my arm. We should move. I nodded. My legs carried me forward, toward the river, toward the light breaking through the canopy. Each step felt like shedding skin I'd worn too long. Behind us, Liam's voice cracked, splintering into sobs. Please don't leave me. For a moment, guilt tried to claw its way in, but it wasn't mine to carry. Not anymore. I didn't look back when I spoke. You left me first. Every time you made me less. Every time you chose cruelty over brotherhood. Don't pretend this ending wasn't yours too, right? Mark's boots crunched beside me. Elena's footsteps kept steady on my other side. Together, we walked toward the river. The jungle didn't feel like a prison anymore. It felt like it was. Letting me go. And Liam's voice, fading behind me, wasn't a chain anymore. It was proof. Proof that I was finally free. The silence in my head felt like a gavel strike. Heavy final. I stood in a courtroom that wasn't real, but it felt more solid than anything I'd walked through in the jungle. A voice echoed, stern and ancient, yet mine all the same. Judge my voice, older, colder. What do you accuse him of? My throat tightened. I stared at the memory of Liam sitting smug in the chair across from me, like nothing had ever broken me, of erasing me, of laughing while I bled. He leaned back, his smirk unchanged. Even in this place I thought I controlled Liam memory. It was just words. I shook my head, fists trembling. Me. Words build prisons, and you locked me in one. The judge's voice cut sharp. Judge, defendant, how do you plead? Liam memory, not guilty. I carried him, fed him, protected him. He was weak. I made him stronger. My chest burned. I remembered every time he called me ungrateful. Every time his protection was really just another chain. Me. You didn't protect me. You shackled me. Every bruise you ignored. Every insult you dressed up as brotherly advice. Those weren't lessons. They were weapons. The echo of footsteps filled the chamber. Lawyers, faceless, featureless, stood shifting papers that didn't exist. Their voices blended into my own thoughts. Prosecutor, my anger. You belittled him. Defense, my doubt. He needed guidance. Prosecutor, you humiliated him in front of others. Defense, he needed to toughen up. The words clashed like steel. My stomach turned because I had believed the defense for years. I had defended him for years. Judge, the accused claims you were nothing without him. Is there truth in this? I almost faltered. The old ache whispered yes. That maybe I was just a shadow trailing after him. But I remembered Elena's voice, Mark's silence breaking for me, the way they saw what he was. Me. No, he needed me to believe that lie. Because if I ever stood alone, he knew he'd look small. Liam's eyes narrowed. Liam memory, ungrateful. I gave you everything. Me. You gave me scars, and then told me to thank you for them. The courtroom pulsed with silence. My heart pounded like the only sound in the room. Judge, do you seek vengeance? The word echoed too loud. For a moment I wanted to scream yes, to let every ounce of anger tear him apart. But anger was still his language. Me. No, I seek release. Liam laughed, hollow and sharp. Liam memory, you'll never be rid of me. I live in your head. Every doubt, every fear, that's me. For a second, his words sank deep. But then I remembered the river, the jungle, the moment I walked away. Me. You're right. You live in my head, but you don't own it anymore. The judge's gavel struck. Final. Judge, the verdict. I stood taller. My voice didn't shake. Me. Guilty of erasure, of betrayal, of chaining me to a version of myself that never belonged to me. The words rang, filling the chamber. Judge. Sentence. I breathed. Slow. Steady. Me. Exile. He doesn't get to speak anymore. Liam's figure blurred, his smirk fading as if I'd erased him the way he tried to erase me. His voice clawed at the air one last time. Liam, memory, you'll come back. You always do. I whispered back. Steady. Me. Not this time. The courtroom dissolved. I was just me again, breathing in the silence. But it wasn't heavy anymore. It was clean. I walked out of that trial lighter, knowing justice wasn't about punishing him. It was about unchaining me. The night pressed against me, thick and unmoving. No jungle around me now, no courtroom in my head. Just me, my own voice. For once it felt like enough. I opened my mouth and it startled me how steady it sounded. Me. You never saw me as human. The words hung there like smoke, curling back into me. I thought I'd choke on them, but instead I felt lighter. Me. You saw me as something to manage, to carry, to belittle until I forgot I could stand on my own. I closed my eyes. His face flashed the smirk, the roll of his eyes, the way he always looked bigger when he stood beside me. Me. But I walked out alive, and that's the part you'll never erase. For a moment I wanted an answer back. The echo of his voice, even cruel, would have been familiar. Instead, I heard nothing, and maybe that was the point. Me, I carried your silence for years. I let it press down on me until I thought it was my own. But it wasn't. It was yours. All of it. The poison, the contempt, the doubt. You called it guidance, you called it love. My chest ached, but not the same way it used to. This wasn't suffocation. It was released at me. You chained me with words, but you'll never speak through me again. I leaned forward, whispering like I was confessing to the air. Me. I was never too much. I was never your burden. You made me believe that because it kept you taller. But you look small now. Smaller than you ever imagined. My hands trembled, but I didn't try to stop them. They weren't weakness. They were proof of everything I had carried and finally set down. Me. I survived you. That's my final word. The silence swelled, thick and waiting, as if it wanted more. I gave it what I had left. Me. You won't get my rage. You won't get my forgiveness. You'll get nothing, and nothing is heavier than any punishment I could give. I let the words sink into the night, into me. My voice cracked, but it didn't break. Me. I will never carry your silence again. I exhaled. Slow, long, certain. For the first time, the quiet didn't feel like a prison. It felt like mine. I stood in it, alone, free.